Good morning, Internet, and welcome to another RC Garage update here on Kai City RC, my second one in a row. I'm doing well. I am on spring break, so I've got a bit more time than I normally would have to work on RC. So without further ado, let's get into it. This is just going to be like a vlog, so if that doesn't interest you, feel free to bail out now. Okay, so if you've been following me on social media, Instagram, Facebook, you would have probably seen a picture of this I posted yesterday. So this is my RC10 Team car. I've only recently built it, what, 2-3 months ago. Decided I wanted to do a bit of a body change. There's nothing wrong with the Team car body. It's a great looking body, but if I had to choose between this and the original RC10 body, I just prefer the lines. It's got such classic iconic lines. So I knew I wanted to switch bodies over, and I decided I think I'll go with the similar color scheme to what I did my recent Top Force. In my race bodies have had the same tricolor for a few years now. Oh well, I said the same tricolor. It started out red, blue and white, and then it slowly moved into blue, candy red and yellow. Very 80s look about it, very bright, bold colors, but and it does have the benefit when you're on a track, you definitely know which is your car. But I wanted to go with something a little bit more subdued, so I painted up another body in the Tamiya PS57 Pearl White, and then just used black decals to give it a kind of two-tone effect. There are a few changes happening to this year's rear-wheel drive cup at Carnosa. So you still have to use Tamiya's square pinspike tires, but going forward this year, gear ratio is free choice. You can go with whatever ratio you want. They've added a motor as well. Before you could use the 540 silver can, the GT tuned or the sports tune. Now you can run a torque tune if you want. And then the last notable change is all entrants must have some kind of driver figure installed. It can be absolutely anything, but just have a driver figure installed. So I went ahead and put the RC10 driver in there. So this is all set up. It's had a couple other mods on it as well. Most notably, I installed a shorty lipo holder by a local custom parts maker at Dryhop. He actually works for G-Force, and from April onwards, he also works for Yokomo as well. He does like various custom parts for Super Dog Fighters, RC10s, Genovas, those kind of things. So I picked up his shorty lipo holder, installed that, just mainly because I wanted to bring the weight forward as much as possible. And now I've just got to make a decision. Do I play it safe and run the PR Racing S1RM? It's tried, it's tested, it's very capable, very reliable. It's the safe, sensible option. This is the car that I ran on all of the sessions that I entered last year. It's just, as you probably imagine, it's a modern day, for want of a better word, high-end rear motor mounted race buggy, essentially. Very, very capable, and certainly will do well. Safe option. So my head is telling me that I should go with this, but my heart is telling me to go with the RC10. It may not be as quick, it may not be as reliable. Certainly for me, it's not as easy to work on, just because of the mix of imperial and metric, SAE units, metric. It just, you know, if you're used to RC10s, it's second nature, but for me, I'm not really used to RC10s and wrenching on them. And then my other main concern is, well, two main concerns. One is the ball cups, whether they're going to pop off in a crash. There are quite a few crashes at the races we do at Carnosa RC Park. That's concerning me. I could upgrade them, but I like the white aesthetic, so I've been looking around for options for that. And then finally, the stealth transmission, the ball diff in it, running on high grip indoor carpet course. How reliable is that going to be? I'm not running big power. This has got the GT tune motor in it, but nevertheless, is it going to cause issues? We'll see. I suppose I could just run different cars in different rounds, which is what I was planning to do last year. Each round run a different car, so there's nothing stopping me running this in one round and running something else in another. So that's the RC10, that's all done. What else have I been up to? Have to excuse me. Ended up having to strip down, excuse me, the JJ Ultima. I did some running last week and noticed the gear diff at the rear was, well, at the rear, there's only one of them. The gear diff was leaking oil. I installed a gear diff in this when I built it up because I knew I'd be running it on carpet, which is another reason why I'm kind of a bit dubious, a bit concerned about the ball diff in the RC10. I figured since I was taking it apart anyway, I would just do some upgrades. So the 87 wheel spec Ultima has a few transmission upgrades. Most notably, you get a lightweight heavy duty drive gear, which is much lighter than the standard drive gear. You also get a lightweight 7075 aluminium main shaft, and also lightweight slipper plates. So I upgraded all those to basically Ultima 87 world spec specification. So that's had a few upgrades thrown in there. So this is all good to go now. I'll be running this at the GFCC, the G-Force Competition Cup, at the end of this month. So that's all set. I'm not sure how well I'm going to do. I haven't run two-wheel drive at that track before. It's quite a ways from me, so I don't go there often. And last year, both occasions, I was pretty much running the Super Dog Fighters. It's a much larger track, a much faster track. So my only concern is, will this start to traction roll in the faster corners? Hopefully not. But literally the first time I drive this will be a Heat 1 of qualifying on the day. Unfortunately, for various reasons, I can't get down there and do any practice runs beforehand. So that's the JJ. And then finally, I also ended up having to do some repairs on this. Took this down to Carnosa the other day, and very unusually for this, it actually traction rolled in the corner. The layout has changed at my local track, and it's a little bit faster than it used to be. And surprisingly, I pushed too quick in the corner, and it actually traction rolled. It's very rare for it to do that. Unfortunately, it traction rolled straight into a wall and broke front bulkhead number 3. They tend to break right down at the bottom here where the shock tower mounts. So fortunately, replacing the bulkhead is pretty easy on these. It's not very involved. And then I decided, well, I should get around to finally fitting, again, from Dryhop, a local custom parts maker. They make the shorty liper holder for this. Also do various upgrades for the Super Dog Fighter, including basically a shock tower brace. It just mounts on the bulkhead cap and then pushes up against the shock tower to add a little bit of stability. So I took a time to fit that as well. So hopefully that will stop the bulkhead from cracking. I know you can get upgraded bulkheads. The stock ones aren't great. They're cast aluminium and they're not particularly good quality. You can get much better ones, but they're extremely expensive, especially when you throw in postage to Japan. So would be nice perhaps at some point, but for the time being, I'll just make you do with the standard bulkheads as they are. Okay, well, that's it for this one. I am going to start to get ready. Go into the track later. I'm going to plan to run these two back to back and try to come up with a plan of action. I want to run this one, but my mind keeps telling me, oh, play it safe and run this one. You should run this one, you should run this one. But I definitely won't. I really do want to run this one. So I don't know. Let me know in the comments. What would you do? Would you run the PR Racing S1RM? Essentially a modern day high-end rear motor mount race buggy. It's going to be dependable, reliable. It performs, as you'd imagine, very, very well. Would you play it safe and go with this, or would you with the RC10? For context, it's rear-wheel drive cup, open to anything as long as the motor's behind the rear axles. So there are things like Wild Ones, Blitzer Beetles, BBXs, Ultimas, Scorpions, Tomahawks, a lot of Genovas, Dirt Masters, etc, etc. I'd imagine there'd also be a lot of Super Astutes because they've just recently come out, and probably a few DTO4s. What would you run? If I've got links to previous videos of the races, so if you want to take a look, they're in the description below, so let me know. Thanks for watching. My name is David. This is Kai City RC. Talk to you in the next one.